taking it down there. Chronix. Say good morning to the entire trial. I say good morning to Grenada, Carriacou, Petit Martinique, the rest of the Eastern Caribbean, the world, wherever you are tuned in from. Those of you via our social media audience platforms per se, let me say good morning to you and thanks so much for being with us this morning. If you tuned in, as always, want to wish you a great day today. It's the mid-morning buzz. Did mention that we do have, of course, an interview coming up, and we're in the process of it. And those of we are now live via GBN TV and here on K105. We're going to be speaking to, of course, members of the Grenada Medical and Dental Council. We're going to be chatting with them for a wee bit and certainly going to go over and say good morning to them. Hope they are all geared up and ready. We do have Dr. George Mitchell with us this morning and Michelle George. We're going to go over and say good morning to both of them. Good morning to both of you. How are you doing this morning?
Good morning. I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I'm doing okay myself. It's great when a doctor can ask you how you're doing. I'm doing good.
Good morning.
Good morning to you also, Michelle.
I'm also doing well.
All right. Well, I want to say good morning once again to both of you, and I would let you both, in this segment per se, introduce yourself, of course, to the audience. I did mention your names per se, but of course, I'll give you the opportunity to give that official, of course, recognition of yourself this morning. Go right ahead. We start off with you with Dr. Mitchell. Go right ahead, sir.
All right. Well, thank you, and good morning to everyone. Good morning to your wide listenership. I know that you're well listened throughout the country and, of course, throughout the region and way beyond that. So, of course, my name is George Mitchell, and most persons who are viewing at the moment or listening would know me in a different capacity. So I am the same person. I think, of course, my most recent endeavors were in relation to COVID, but now I'm into accreditation. So good morning to everyone, and I'll ask, of course, Michelle to introduce herself.
Okay, good morning, everyone, and thank you again for affording us the opportunity to be on this program. I want to also say good morning to the viewers and listeners. I am Michelle George, and as Dr. Mitchell mentioned earlier, many of you may very well know me in a different capacity in the Ministry of Education Examinations Unit, but I am here now with the Grenada Medical and Dental Council. So happy am I to be here this morning, and I hope that we have a fruitful discussion. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you both once again for the, of course, introduction there. Now, let's get into the meat of the matter as we hear. This morning we're here to chit-chat pertaining to the St. George's Medical School, the University School of Medicine accreditation, and, of course, you both being part of the Grenada Medical and Dental Council, of course, pertaining to the accreditation of the university per se. Tell us more about the accreditation and the process that's going on pertaining to it right now. Give us some information pertaining to that. Not sure which one of you would like to take a go at it.
So, as the senior colleague, I'll go first, Michelle. All right, and I just wanted to establish the not only the background to what we are talking about, because I think that many people don't know about the accreditation aspect of GMDC, which is the Grenada Medical and Dental Council, or maybe most people don't know about the Grenada Medical and Dental Council. So I just wanted to put that into a bit of a perspective so that we are all on the same page. So the Grenada Medical and Dental Council was established by law in 2010, and their main function at that time was, of course, to regulate the practice of medicine and dentistry in Grenada. So that was basically the main function at that time. And they've been doing that. They've been doing a fantastic job of regulating the practice. And of course, they had a secretariat, which they still have a secretariat that occupies itself with the registration and licensing of medical and dental practice in Grenada. But fast forward to 2019, there was an absolute need to accredit medical programs in Grenada. And may I just go back a little bit as well, because prior to being asked to accredit the medical program, the medical program was being accredited by the Caribbean, a Caribbean body, which is set up, which is known as CAMHP. People in the accreditation world may know about that and so forth. So coming back in 2019, it was necessary to replace CAMHP, at least for the time being. And so the government took the step to empower the Grenada Medical and Dental Council, which is, of course, GMDC, to accredit medical programs. And in so doing, they had to establish the accreditation secretariat. And that is what we're about. So just to go back in a nutshell, the Grenada Medical and Dental Council currently has 2 secretariats, one that occupies itself with licensing and registration, or registration and licensing of medical and dental practitioners, and the other secretariat is to do with accreditation, and that's what we are about. And this was established only in 2019. So we are young, we are only 2 years old, but we have done fantastic things. And, I will shut up at this time, and maybe Michelle will sort of like go a bit into some of the more nitty-gritty of what we do here.
All right. Go right ahead, Michelle.
All right. So as Dr. Mitchell mentioned earlier, we have a very new organization, unlike some of the accreditation institutions that were established in the 1800s, late 1800s and 1900s in the U.S. And we have really a mandate to accredit, as Dr. Mitchell mentioned. So what we do exactly is to review medical education programs in Grenada, and we do so by using a set of pre-established accreditation standards. So in other words, a set of criteria, that is what we use to assess or to evaluate the medical education programs in Grenada that will lead to a medical degree program. And we were given the mandate to do that solely in Grenada. So once a medical education program is established here, then it means that it must be accredited by the Grenada Medical and Dental Council. So our mission basically is to promote high standards, to promote excellence, and of course to ensure that there is integrity in our medical education program. And how do we do that? We basically ensure that the structures that we have in place are very much rigorous, our accreditation processes, and so it's very much rigorous in evaluating our programs that are offered in Grenada. So I'm just going to give you a little bit on what is accreditation exactly, because persons may be hearing that word maybe for the first time, others may hear it and may not understand really what is accreditation.
Cutting in you, but it's certainly one of the questions I was about to ask, Tell us a little bit more about accreditation. But since that you alluded to it, you can go right ahead and continue.
All right, excellent. So accreditation really entails that review process or that evaluation of higher education, medical education in this case, as we are GMDC, as we're required to do in Grenada. So what we do, we look at our standards, and we have 6 of the standards, and we use that to make a judgment on whether or not the education program has met that particular criteria. So we have 6 established thematic areas that we look at. We look at the institutional setting, we look at curriculum and assessment, we look at the faculty, we assess also the academic environment, the institutional effectiveness effectiveness, and also we look at the students. So in terms of the institutional setting, basically it has to do with governance and so forth. The curriculum and assessment, how effective that is, the timeliness of the assessment and so forth. We look at students, their admission, their enrollment and so forth, and the numbers that we get that the school takes in yearly and so forth. We also look at the faculty, we look at the qualifications and so forth, the institutional effectiveness, how effective really are they in carrying out that mandate that they have, the curriculum and so forth. And the academic environment has to do basically with the professionalism and everything that happens on the environment in the campus and so there. So it is really important as an accreditation body that we review these based on the themes that I mentioned, and ensure that the institution, the program really is sticking to these requirements.
All right. Now, let me ask this: what is the significance and of course an importance of an institution being accredited?
Michelle, you want me to take that one, or you're the accreditation specialist? Well, you can take that, because let me just introduce what Michelle does at the Secretariat as well, and that's why I am sort of like ensuring that Michelle takes the brunt of that kind of questioning. Michelle is our accreditation officer. She's well endowed in that area. She has, of course, a PhD, which was recently attained in education, but with emphasis on accreditation. So Michelle is well placed to speak to those themes that we're currently discussing. So Michelle, you take it, and I'll come back for it.
All right, thank you, Doc. Well, first and foremost, for a medical education program to operate in Grenada, they must be accredited and accredited by GMDC. So that's, if you're not accredited, then there is no way that you can operate as a medical education program in Grenada. So that's the first thing. So SU, for instance, is accredited by GMDC, they can operate in Grenada. Now, in terms of accreditation in itself is basically important in establishing high standards. It is important that we maintain that sort of standard. So you cannot have universities and so or programs being set up and you do not have something that you can judge them by. So that's a tool really that we use to ensure that persons are meeting the standards, and not just local standards, but it is compared against international benchmarks. So that is important. Then, of course, when we accredit an institution, really it's an opportunity for them to self-inspect themselves. They have to prepare a self-study. So they have to look internally at their quality assurance. They have to look at their operations. They have to look at their processes, and so their accreditation processes, before we come in to conduct that review. So it helps them really to do that inspection and to improve going forward. So that is important. And it also gives us as an agency, GMDC, an opportunity really to guide the institution, because we're giving them standards, and these standards are established before. Mm-hmm. So we're giving them guidelines, something that they can really, use to really improve the quality of medical education that they have at their institutions that leads to a medical doctor's degree.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to add and piggyback on what Michelle has just said. The whole idea is to ensure that we have a good product. Mm-hmm. And that product is, of course, the students who graduate. And this does not only exist in medical education, mind you. It exists in other areas of higher education. It is just that we are occupied with medical education. But the whole issue of accreditation happens across the spectrum, the educational spectrum. So, and it is geared to produce high quality trained, skilled personnel. And yes, that is important because it's important for society as well. If you have schools that are churning out graduates that are not very well trained, then it impacts negatively on the population, on your development, and you know, the kind of service that you give to the population. So we are proud that we have grown to the level that we are ensuring that our standards, our processes, our guidelines are now at the level that we are ensuring that the graduates from St. George's University, and mind you, I'm just pushing that here, you know, we are also clamoring to be able to accredit more schools, more educational programs once given the opportunity, but we can speak to that a bit later. But herein lies the importance of ensuring that you have a good, rigorous process that at the end of the day would produce solid, skilled, well-trained personnel for whatever marketplace that you're dealing with.
All right.
Yeah, and if I can jump in, I'm happy that Dr. Mitchell mentioned that, because persons need to know, students, for instance, wanting to go into a medical degree program, or someone probably who's already there, they need to make sure that the program that they enter into is accredited and is of the best quality in terms of standards and so.
All right. And certainly being accredited is definitely important in terms of the benefits that it could derive in terms of the student population, in terms of getting to know about the institution even more. Well, my main question that I want to ask right now, pertaining to the recently recognized the World Federation of Medical Education in recognizing the SGU. Tell us a little more about pertaining to that. I don't know which one of you want to jump in on that and give us some more information pertaining to that.
Michelle is our accreditation officer. I'll leave that to Michelle. I'll jump in if there's anything that we need to add here. But suffice to say, though, that is an achievement that is out of this world. Michelle, you take it away.
Yeah, we need to really laud it. And because that's a big accomplishment that we have attained. The WFME is really stands for the World Federation for Medical Education, and for short, sometimes we refer to it as WIFME. We recently received recognition on September the 3rd, and we have a recognition status up until September 30th, 2032, GMDC. What does that mean, really? WIFME recognition really means, one, that our accreditation processes and our accreditation standards, they're really comparable to international standards. So what we do here has significant importance, not just here, but far-reaching. All right, that's one. Two, it means also that the graduates from a medical program that is accredited by GMDC, right? So persons who graduate from schools that are accredited by GMDC, for example, SU, they can now do the exam that will allow them to practice medicine in the US, in Canada, and so forth, if they choose to so do. You know, and you know that a lot of the students that go to SU, of course, they come from these areas. So it's important. It was very much important as an organization, GMDC, to ensure that we received recognition from WIFME. In fact, there was a deadline. The deadline was initially in 2023 for us to accomplish that. We did so even before 2020, and now I think the deadline has been extended to 2024. So it's a great accomplishment. It's a significant accomplishment for GMDC that we have received WIFME recognition. Okay, and it's a great, I'm certain that the students who were waiting for that decision, they're very much happy with that and ready to go.
All right.
I don't know how much time we have on this program, but I just wanted to add significantly, and to put that what we have achieved in context. GMDC is the second agency in the entire region that has achieved this. I'm talking about in CARICOM per se. The only other institution or the only other agency that has achieved this, feat is CAMHP. CAMHP is the regional body set up by CARICOM to undertake that, and they have been in existence since 2003. In terms of WIFMI's recognition, no other agency in the region, whether, whatever the size of the territories, have been able to achieve that. It is rigorous. We had to go through a lot. We had to develop, all our documentation to be able to do that. We had to do an application. So it's an extremely rigorous process that we had to undergo to achieve that. And just to reiterate what Michelle said just now, that recognition is like the gold seal of approval.
All right.
We are now on, you can find us on, there is a world repository of institutions that are recognized by WIFMI. And WIFMI is associated with the World Health Organization as well. So we're not talking about no little jittery organization, just to use a colloquial term here. Okay? We are there and we are extremely proud. We couldn't talk about this before because, of course, the noise in the marketplace was a lot in terms of our existence and what we were doing. We know that we had COVID. People weren't going to listen to us talk now, and all of that. And immediately after COVID, once things started to settle down, then we had the elections, noise happening. So we think this is the appropriate time, that we tell Grenada and the world what we've achieved and what we're doing. So we're really, really happy to break that news. Breaking news, we can call this.
All right. Well, I certainly want to thank, obviously, of course, congratulations to both of you on such achievement, because, not always we hear institutions within Grenada of that nature getting those kind of recognition, especially from international bodies. So I think it's a great achievement for your organization, and it's simply a way of saying it. So it's a thumbs up in the way forward. We strap for time. There's not much time. We do get us ready.
I can't leave the program, though, if I don't say thanks to the staff of the Secretariat at all. They have been our bedrock in getting all the things done. And of course, to the governing body of GMDC. Right. They too have played a significant role in our achievement. So, and of course, we have sort of like an umbrella body, GNAB. Most people may know about GNAB. We want to say thank you to those folks there as well. So I would not be allowed to walk out this building in peace if I don't, give accolades to where they're due.
All right. Michelle, any final words before we take a wrap for today?
Oh, yes, I just want to thank you also for this opportunity, because as Dr. Mitchell mentioned, we are new, and of course we need persons to be more aware of GMDC and what we offer, and really want to sensitize persons of the importance of ensuring not just for medical education program, but that they check out the accreditation status of various institutions of higher education before they decide to go there. And for more information, you can, of course, contact us at GMDC on our website. It's www.gmdc.gd, or you can also contact us through telephone 435-4632 for more information on GMDC and our operations. And with that, I say thank you so much again for having us on this program.
Certainly, I want to thank you both for being with us here this morning here on the Mid-Morning Bus. It's a pleasure having you, and congratulations once again. All the best.
Thank you.
Right, thank you. Mm-hmm.
Hey, folks, that's how we take a wrap for today's program on Son of the Mid-Morning Bus. That's where I say GT say goodbye for today also. Coming up at the top of the hour, get set for the midday edition of news. Have yourself a good one. That's where I say goodbye.